Okay, so I'm going to do a video today for the 14th of November. Looking at the news today, we had some Aussie news on wage prices, we had the Euro, German GDP, most importantly we had the pound CPI year on year, working towards the later tonight where we have the US CPI numbers. Okay, why I say most importantly, the pound CPI number is it came out a bit worse than expected at 2.4. Previous was 2.4 expected, 2.5 came out at 2.4. So overall it's slightly worse than expected. Okay, so but we look through the charts. I've got the 8 major currency pairs here. I will look through them one by one, starting with the Aussie on the H4. Okay, so Aussie on H4 now, how I see it is it's actually approaching my support at 7170. So I got a support line at 7170. I think that how I look at it is it might come down towards 7170. Most likely it looks like it's going to break. So I'm looking for it to, if it goes below 7170, to break possibly down towards 7031 or 7030. So that is quite a strong move of 120 pips downwards. Okay, but it needs to close strongly below that level. Can it come towards 7170 and bounce upwards? What we've seen is it actually happened within this week, and it also reacted strongly later in 2 weeks ago, end of October. So we could also see it bounce upwards. Okay, so right now what I've given you is both directions, an upward move and a downward move at that support level. We will come towards eliminating or figuring out which direction is it more likely after we look through all 8 currency pairs. Okay, so we look at the New Zealand US dollar next. New Zealand US dollar is actually very surprising. Today and actually this week it has actually bounced quite strongly off the 6700 level, and then just continue climbing up. Okay, so it's actually been moving up. I'm looking at it being resisted. It has been resisted last week and a bit today, this week as well today, at 6790. So it hit that level and turned back down last week, and then earlier today also hit that level and turned back down. So I actually think that would it climb up further or would it go down? I think it probably go downwards and test the 6700 level again. Possible, most likely it'll come back down and test the 6700 level. Okay. Pound US dollar. Pound US dollar has been a bit of a wild ride for this week, mainly because of the Brexit negotiations. What's happening is they're coming very close to a deal, right? They're coming very close to a deal, and that's why you see the recent upward move in the pound dollar. Okay, today we had a big drop in the pound dollar because of what? Because of the the CPI at 2.4%. So we actually saw it dropping straight down. Because of it dropping straight down, it actually broke below my 1.2950 level. It broke below my 1.2950 level, possibly heading towards the 1.2830 level. Right, so it's possibly going to that next level of 1.2830. But you can see now that it's actually tried going down and it's retesting. It's retesting that resistance. So we possibly could see it test that resistance before coming back lower. Okay, or it could test that resistance, and then what happens? We see a very good news on the Brexit and it shoots straight back up towards 1.31. Okay, so I would actually stay off pound for the short and medium term because we are still waiting for what's going to happen in the Brexit news. Up until then, it's really going to jump in a very weird direction. The news is going to affect it a lot. and that's what we saw from earlier today as well. Okay, so from the pound, I look at the euro pound. Well, actually, I'll skip ahead. I'll look at the euro US first. Euro US has been on a very nice downward move in a long and medium term. In the short term, it's bounced up. Okay, so what actually happened in the euro US is it hit 1.130. We tested 1.130 and then started turning back down. I think for euro US, how I feel is it's got a very limited downside potential. So it could go down towards 1.122, 1.1220, and it might stop. It might actually have a very strong support at that level. So downside not very good. Upside, do I expect the euro to be climbing up strongly? Possibly not, because of the very strong downward move and all the uncertainties with what's happening in Italy and also the euro. Okay, so I'm still looking at it heading downwards more, although a very limited downside potential. So what we've seen is euro has a very limited downside potential. We've seen the pound could shoot up wildly or could retest the resistance and turn back down. Looking at the euro pound, because it's a component of both of them, I see it actually reacting very strongly towards the 0.8750 level. Right, so it's hit that level and turned back down. Even the last 4 hours, it shot straight up to that area, and then now it looks like it's turning back down. So I could actually think that because it's reacting to that level, it's possibly going to come off that resistance towards 8640. Right, come back down to test the support of 8640. So with this move of the euro pound downwards, means that we could see it would require the pound to be going up and the euro to be coming down strongly. So we're looking at the possibilities using euro pound to see the directions of the pound and also the directions of the euro US. Right. So looking at the US yen has been in a very tight, for this week, actually a very tight consolidation. It's this whole start of the week to now has only been a good 40 something pip range. So it's a very tight consolidation right now. At this level, it could really go anywhere. Okay, I'm not going to tell you any directions, because for it to go up, it can only go to 114.40 and get resisted. So that's only a 50 pip move upwards. For it to come down, you know, it could only go towards 113.13 at the lowest point, and that's about 70 pips downwards. At any direction, the risk reward is going to be terrible for this pair. So I would wait for it to break those levels, either of those levels, before deciding which direction would it go. Okay, so because we looked at the euro US and the US yen, now we look at the euro yen. Euro yen actually has been moving quite similarly to the euro US. I've seen it bouncing around, and it's at the 128.37 level. Recent move has been downwards. Okay, this is driven because of the downward move in the euro US. Okay, so the downward move in the euro US has brought the euro yen lower. Still the same downward potential for the euro yen would be towards 127.25. Alright, so 127.25 is the support level. That's a good 100 pip move downwards. But for this to move downwards, we actually really need to see the euro coming down and possibly the yen getting a bit stronger, or the US dollar getting, well, if the US dollar gets weaker, then it's a conflict against the euro moving down, so the yen getting stronger. Okay, so likelihood of this will be driven, this downward move would have to be driven by the euro US moving downwards. Alright, so lastly, the US CAD. The US CAD has been on a tear upwards. It broke above 1.32, and when it broke above 1.32, which was quite a strong resistance level, it doesn't look like it's going to come back down despite what's happening with the crude oil. So although even if it does come back down, I expect it to test 1.32 before possibly going upwards again. A possible resistance will be 1.3330. So that's a good 100 pip move upwards as well. So we could see, a test downwards before a move higher for the CAD. Okay, so looked at all 8 currency pairs. In general, if I look at it as an overall view, we have seen that the Aussie can move up, can move down. We've seen that the Kiwi is likely to move downwards. The pound could go anywhere. The Euro pound is likely to come down. The Euro US possibly downwards. The Euro Yen possibly downwards. CAD down and slightly higher. And the US Yen anywhere. So in general, what I'm seeing here is overall US dollar strength. We're seeing strength in the US dollar. So straight away when I have questions about, for example, the Aussie US, whether it can move up or down, if I'm going to see over US strength across the board, I don't think that Aussie moving up is a strong possibility. I think that it's going to come down. So again, this is also going to influence my decision on the US Yen, because the US Yen could, for the US dollar to get stronger, would have to break 114.40 before going higher. Okay, so those are the 8 currency pairs that I'm looking at, and if we see US dollar strength, the directions that they are likely to turn towards. So where are we going to get that US dollar strength? Looking at the news coming ahead, we could see it quite soon in the US CPI number. Okay, tomorrow morning we have Fed Chair Powell speaking. That is probably not a big event, so I wouldn't wake up at 7 AM to be watching that news. Thursday in the evenings we have a core retail sales. So core retail sales, and you can see that previously it was minus 0.1. It's expected 0.5. Retail sales was 0.1, expected 0.6. So we're seeing relatively strong numbers, expectation for relatively strong numbers in retail. This could actually be quite possible. Why? Because of the coming festive seasons. So we could see actually stronger retail numbers, and if we see stronger retail numbers, we could see that stronger US dollar. And then nothing much happening for Friday. We got Powell speaking again about the hurricane recovery, so not much policy news there. Draghi speaking at the European Bank Congress, probably not much going to happen there. And that's the news for coming up. So because of all the news coming up, looking at this, we could actually, if we get good strong CPI numbers today and retail sales number today, we could see the stronger US dollar. Okay, so that's the end of the video. We're going to proceed to questions with our students at the mentoring session now.